Hello, everybody. This is Jimmy, and you're reading with Jimmy. We're doing the quick take of the Prioress Tale, subtitled by Jimmy, Martyrdom and the Perils of Piety. This is from the Canterbury Tales, and this is my 10-minute breakdown. Welcome, everybody. What if I told you that a tale wrapped in sweetness about a devout child and a miracle of song ends up in bloodshed, vengeance, and divine retribution? Well, that's the Prioress Tale. A deceptively gentle story told in a soft voice but filled with sharp edges. It's a tale that reveals just as much about its teller, the prioress, as it does the plot. So, welcome to my quick take. This is my 10-minute distillation of the insight for this tale, so you can come on down and read the whole tale with me. But before you do that, let's continue this quick take. Let's meet the prioress, a woman of refinement and piety, and let's hear her tale of the child song that echoes beyond the grave. So, what's the story? Well, the setting is a Christian town in Asia. It's near a Jewish ghetto where Christians and Jews they coexist uneasily. Sound familiar? The main characters are a little boy. He's 7 years old, devout, pure, and he's eager to honor the Virgin Mary. Catholics know who the Virgin Mary is, other people may not. So learn about the Virgin Mary. There's the boy's mother. She's loving and faithful, and she's deeply devoted to her child and her faith. And then there's the Jews. In this tale, they're portrayed as villains, which they are not, who murder the boy for singing a Christian hymn. Go figure. And then, of course, there's also the Virgin Mary. She's the spiritual protector of the boy, guiding his miraculous return from death. So, what's the plot? Well, the boy, the schoolboy, learns to sing the hymn Alma Redemptoris Mater, which is a Latin chant praising the Virgin Mary. And he sings it constantly, constantly, even as he walks through the Jewish quarter. So in the tale, some of the Jews, they're angered by the song. They bribe a murderer to kill the boy and throw his body in a pit. Now remember who's telling the story, right? It's a prioress, it's a nun. And the grieving mother searches for her son and eventually finds him, but his throat is cut. But miraculously, he's still singing the hymn. He reveals to his mother that the Virgin Mary placed a pearl on his tongue so that he could continue praising her after his death. But when the pearl is removed by a priest, the boy is finally allowed to die. The guilty are punished, the boy is honored as a martyr, and the story ends with a prayer to Mary. So what's the big deal? Well, in this tale, the narrator gives us a chance a portrait of piety, but a mirror of medieval prejudice, anti-Semitism. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, even then. The prioress herself is portrayed as a general prologue as a dainty, sentimental, and obsessed outwardly of refinement and in other words, she was just a picture of refinement and religion, devotion. Her tale reflects this surface sweetness, but reveals something darker underneath. She tells this tale meant to inspire devotion, but the narrator doesn't shield us from the story's disturbing implications. This isn't just a story about faith. It's about violence cloaked in innocence and anti-Semitism. So what are some of the themes we find? Well, innocence and martyrdom. The boy is held up as the ideal Christian, pardon me. He's obedient, he's pure, he's devout. His death elevates him to sainthood, but raises uncomfortably. Sorry. The darn phone was ringing. Sorry. His death elevates him to sainthood, but raises uncomfortable questions about the value placed on suffering. It's about religious devotion. The tale praises Mary, miracles, and unwavering faith, but it does so through the lens of emotional manipulation. I mean, when you read this with me, there's a lot of blood, a lot of, oh my, sometimes it's unbelievable. And remember, this was written in the medieval times, so they had no televisions, no action-packed drama, right? This is all left to your imagination, and the language is rich, rich to help your imagination imagine what's going on, and anti-Semitism and prejudice. The anonymous narrator doesn't editorialize, but the tale contains strong anti-Semitic themes, common in medieval Christian narratives. Prejudice should be acknowledged and examined critically. Don't you agree with that? Piety is performance. The tale is intensely emotional. But like the prioress herself, whose daintiness may be dramatic, in other words, it's faked, it may be not faked. You got to read it with Jimmy. The tale suggests the tension between genuine devotion and sentimental show. So why does this tale still matter today? Well, like everything else we do here on this website, it teaches us to read critically. You'll never meet a person like this or know, maybe you don't believe in spiritual events, right? But in literature, we read to learn how others lead their life and how we should lead ours. So if you want to confront prejudice, anti-Semitism, and you're afraid to do it in real life, this story is just for you. Because like all classics, it invites you to pay attention. Get yourself into the story, which Jimmy takes you in the analysis. The story is brutal. It's brutal. Prejudice still hides behind virtue. Don't you agree with that today? Just look around you. Look around you on what the hell's going on. The tale masks religious hatred in the language of holiness. We see how good intentions and spiritual emotion can be twisted into a justification for violence. Is there a justification for violence? Emotion can be used to actually manipulate people. You think? The story tugs at us. It's pulling at us, especially with the image of a singing corpse. I never saw a corpse sing. I saw lots of corpses when I was a altar boy, lots of dead people, but I never heard one singing. The emotional stories, like emotional appeals, can be weaponized. You think? Literature reflects the times and challenges ours. Prejudice is presented, but it's not judged. It's when you read this tale, it's not saying you're anti-Semitic. It's not saying that. It's asking you to think about it, what it means, the meaning of words. Our job as readers is to see how people lead their lives and how we should lead ours. Sometimes that's a tough call. And finally, it's the question of martyr. Who's a martyr? What is a martyr? The word martyr is interesting. Something happened just recently that they're calling the person who was just assassinated a martyr. What is a martyr? The tale asks us to think more deeply about how we use that word. Words, as we discuss in these classics, is language charged with meaning. Got it? Calling all readers, calling all readers. That's the Prioress Tale in 10 minutes. But I urge you, you're on the website now or on my YouTube, come on down and read this whole tale with me. You won't regret it. I'm going to read it with you. I'm going to analyze it with you, and you'll walk away with something more powerful than when you started, which is really a knowledge of your own self. And when you're done, pick up the next one, the Summoner's Tale, or the Nun's Priest Tale, or the Friar's Tale. You pick it. So I want to leave you with this thought. Can storytelling heal or harm? Can a story harm or heal us? And how do we know the difference? Thanks for joining me. This is where you'll find it on my website with all the other Canterbury tales. Lots and lots of hours of tales and analysis. The QR code will take you to my YouTube channel if you're on my website, www.readingwithjimmy.com. And as always, enjoy the comprehensive analysis of each tale, because I do take it apart for your benefit. Jimmy at readingwithjimmy.com. Jimmy at readingwithjimmy.com is my email. Thanks so much. And again, be careful what you believe, right? The use of words and tales and spirituality, etc., etc., etc.